Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having a great day and that you are all doing well. To start things off, Ripple CEO, his name is Brad Garlinghouse, went on Bloomberg TV for an interview about the usefulness of his company's technology and told the interviewer that any digital asset in the long term is going to be valued based upon the problems it is solving, end quote. Ripple is widely believed to be solving the problems of large asset transfers across borders and has dozens of large institutional clients to show for it. Chief market strategist, his name is Corey Johnson, has previously dubbed Ripple, or XRP, as Bitcoin 2.0. This actually it had to be about a week and a half ago that he had, I refused to put it into the video because I think it would have been just a bit too much for some viewers. The Ripple team has said something similar to this many times before in the past, where they have stated on stage at events that they definitely believe that the old technology will not last. Brad Garlinghouse himself has said before in the past that he is long on Bitcoin, but that he is longer on Ripple/XRP. So I remember when Corey Johnson said that he thought that XRP was the new Bitcoin 2.0. I thought I'd rather not ruffle a lot of feathers by even mentioning something like that inside of a video. The Bloomberg segment has Garlinghouse saying that at least 100 Swift-connected banks have signed on with Ripple, and that contrary to Swift's opinion, the blockchain and cryptocurrencies can play a vital role in the banking sector. He said, and I quote, "Swift said not long ago that they didn't see blockchain as a solution to corresponding banking. We've got well over 100 of their customers saying they disagree," end quote. XRP trading saw a massive spike last week on rumors that Swift and Ripple were partnering via enterprise blockchain platform known as RippleNet, a rumor that turned out to be nakedly false. To this end, Garlinghouse made a statement which effectively means Ripple has no intention of coexisting with Swift. He said, "What we're doing and executing on a day-to-day basis is in fact taking over Swift," end quote. I assume this means because not only, I think it's actually even more than 100 of their customers. We had news last week that the Ripple team had opened a new office in Dubai, and apparently, according to the documents and news that I was reading around on the internet, apparently the Middle East does not have a very nice relationship with Swift, and therefore they are looking for any type of alternative. And this is why I think we see a lot of the partners that Ripple is actually partnering with tend to be, they're not obscure, but there are other places that I think that the US and Europe typically don't aim for when it comes to sending money back and forth. And this is why the idea of RippleNet/XRP is so interesting, because it allows you to end up hitting other countries that many other countries aren't paying attention to. Like there was, oh gosh, what was it? Like all the corridors between like Mexico and Brazil and like Thailand and the Philippines and like it's all these not obscure places, but like you understand what I'm saying. Like typically when we hear about finance, as we've heard about it for the last whatever years of our lives, it's always been the markets in the States or the markets in Europe, and like the rest of the world kind of feels like a bit left out. So this is why I think it is quite interesting that all of this is taking place. That part's not too important. Yeah, so this is also another really interesting part. Ripple recently pushed to move a securities lawsuit against it pertaining to more into federal court. Like any larger entity, particularly in crypto, the firm spends its fair share of time in court. The lawsuit alleges that the company has engaged in a never-ending ICO and that XRP should be classified as an unregistered security according to the definition in federal and California law. So what ended up happening was that this happened about a day or two ago. I was either taking a break or I didn't mention. I don't remember exactly what the thing was. Anyway, the point is, so remember about 4 or 5 months ago, there was one person who came out and said that he lost $50 trading XRP, and therefore XRP is a security. Someone else came forward and said that I think they lost like $800, and therefore there was a never-ending ICO. And then the third person came out and said something that he probably shouldn't have said in the first place. The court threw the third one out. The second one, I think I don't know if they settled in court or what the situation was, but the last one, apparently this one right here, I think they moved it to a larger court that'll then be able to decide. This is just what I get from what I've been reading around the last day or two, that apparently moving this lawsuit into a federal court will allow the judge to declare whether XRP is a either a never-ending ICO / a security, or if it is not. This is what I've got from it. There were a lot of websites. They were not praising the Ripple team, but they said it was a very smart move in order to be able to kind of just like get it out of the way, because when you have 3 people coming forward talking about, hey, this is a security, and we've had other blah blah blahs talking about that it's definitely not a security, this could be a way for them to have like an actual bit of clarity or some type of an official to say on paper or on record or being recorded saying that it is not a security, since we have had news that members of the SEC, as far as we know, could potentially not give a proper definition on any coin as to what's a security, simply because they said that there are too many. A lot of new coins are being launched against the ICO, not even as ICOs or STOs. They're being airdropped, or they're I can't remember the name of the other method, but like a lot of new companies are trying to release their coins the same exact way that Bitcoin was released. Someone makes a code, someone lets other people know that this code has been made, they drop it onto a website, and then people can start mining it for themselves, because everyone's trying to figure out a way to completely get away from the SEC, the CFTC, the ABC, the USA. Like nobody wants to deal with these things anymore. Nobody wants to be told, like we had last week, where the guy from the decentralized exchange, Ether Delta, where he pretty much was told, hey, you have to pay $800,000 because what you're doing, you're listing securities, and it's a decentralized exchange, so it doesn't make sense that they even found him. So even on the podcast I was listening to, they were talking about that even people who were thinking of launching decentralized exchanges are now trying to figure out a way to be able to, like, they're working around the mistakes of the last person. The point is, so we finally have proper clarification. Swift is not working with Ripple. Ripple does not want to work with Swift. What Ripple is trying to do is completely take over Swift. And this is part of, it could be one of the reasons why Swift invited Ripple to Cybos or Cebos, however you kind of want to say it. That happened a couple weeks ago, because they could be, when it comes to money, I don't think people are relatively friendly, especially in this type of world. So I can assume that they only had them there because they wanted to see exactly which products they had to be able to show off to other people, to see if they were a major source of competition. And at this point, the Ripple team has now hundreds of banks under their belt, and they continue to expand. So this is great not only for XRP, but for the entire cryptocurrency community. Yeah, let's move on. Next up, Chinese regulators have affirmed its anti-crypto stance in a newly published research, claiming the fiat system reigns supreme and cannot be disrupted by cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology. The People's Bank of China, or the PBOC, remains unimpressed with cryptocurrencies, as reiterated through a recently published research paper which expresses confidence in the superiority of fiat currencies over crypto. Authored by the Chinese Central Bank's research wing, the paper, titled "What Blockchain Can and Cannot Do," sweeps aside any merit or potential that cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology might possess to trigger financial innovation and disrupt the traditional monetary system. The regulator expresses the belief that crypto and blockchain will have little to no impact on the conventional financial system, with digital assets possessing no intrinsic value. The paper proceeds to discuss the shortcomings of the blockchain tech, claiming that DLT, or distributed ledger technology, is a utopian fantasy that promises much but delivers little, hindered by legal and practical shortcomings and producing no tangible social benefits. Zhu Zong, director of the PBOC research wing and author of the report, states further that blockchain technology has been unreasonably touted as a panacea, I always get that word incorrect, that will bring stability to the financial sphere. However, he calls into question the practicality, scalability, and actual merits of DLT and decentralization, claiming they cannot possess or possibly replace existing. First of all of that's completely. I wish I could think of where to even start to begin. What they're saying is the same exact thing that people said when the internet was first around like 1993. I was but a mere child, and I remember people, oh gosh, it's just so ridiculous. They're lying. I don't know how to even remotely sugarcoat it. What they're saying, especially about practicality and scalability, is the same exact thing that people said about the internet when it was first introduced to the widespread public. many years ago, and it comes down to the same exact thing. They were talking about that the internet's not practical. Why would anyone want to buy something online? Why would you want to use the internet to send a payment when you can just use Western Union, or you could send a telegram, or you could throw a rock really far with a pigeon attached? Like it's always something super ridiculous. Scalability as well. I don't know, for those who were here or were alive, who remember dial-up, and it took forever to download one picture. That was the same exact thing. People said that they thought that the internet would never be able to scale. We now know in this year that it's definitely possible, and scaling is definitely possible in all aspects. So what I find the most ridiculous part of all of this is that not only is China obsessed with blockchain technology, once a week we have some type of news that China has like a TV show, or they have like a 6-hour long thing that's on one of their networks, where they're trying to tell people within the country exactly how great blockchain technology is. They even, last week and a half ago, we had news that China reprinted Andreas Antonopoulos' book, Mastering Bitcoin, but they took out the word Bitcoin everywhere and just put the word blockchain. They're clearly obsessed with it. And the fact that they keep having like crypto rankings every like 2 months or something like that, I don't know if this is them just trying to push down the idea of cryptocurrencies within their country, because this would make a bit more sense if this was released obviously within China, as they are in China, and it was made for the people within China to let them know, hey, there's no chance that you're ever going to have any type of financial sovereignty. That can make a bit more sense, especially because China controls every single thing that happens within their country. So the idea that they would release something that would tell people within their country that, hey, this is inferior to what we give you, I can kind of see that. If this was released as a paper that was meant to be spread across the entire world and therefore show the shortcomings of cryptocurrency / blockchain, I think they need to maybe research a bit more. I'm not surprised about anything. China is, they should be more surprising, but they're not. I told you guys before, if you wanted to ban something, just ban it. Don't talk about it. But they keep releasing research papers and rankings and TV shows and books, all specifically around blockchain. And especially when they're talking about that, we had news before that they planned on thinking about creating their own central bank digital currency that is going to be built on blockchain. So I don't. China's just always going to be China. That's pretty much all I can say about it. From here, let us move on. I guess there's a bit of a country hop in this video. Experts are saying the Indian government's perceived plan to ban Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is an impossibility. Analysts are saying that by the very nature of digital currencies, implementing a blanket ban will be difficult. According to Quartz India, following reports of a possible ban on private use of cryptocurrencies, several market players and experts weigh in on the impossibility of a blanket ban on cryptocurrencies. Whether the government plans to ban cryptocurrency transactions or private ownership or both, analysts believe it will be an uphill endeavor for the government. Speaking on the matter, Nishil Shetty, CEO of Wazix, a cryptocurrency exchange in India, had this to say, and I do quote, "Even if the government decides to ban possession, it will be impossible to implement it," end quote. Shetty is of the opinion that banning cryptocurrency exchanges will not eliminate private ownership of virtual currencies. Investors can store their digital assets in cloud storage facilities, individual hot wallets, or physical storage devices like USB drives. This is once again, exactly what's happening in China. We had news 2 weeks ago that China apparently banned but could not ban cryptocurrencies. All that countries can ban at this moment are cryptocurrency exchanges, or they can tell people not to list ICOs, or if they're going to list ICOs, that they have to do it through the government. It's at this point impossible to ban private ownership, and this is why we had that once again the same exact news from China that apparently it is and has been legal this entire time for people to own cryptocurrencies and to transact in it. It was part of the statement as well that if a shop owner decides to accept cryptocurrencies as payment, this is also possible. But the thing is, you cannot, I think, trade it for profit. Like, you can't trade it on a cryptocurrency exchange or do swaps and stuff like that. But this further leads me to my annoyance. I'm not in India. I know we have a couple of people in India who do listen. Hello to all of you. I know it gets very frustrating, especially when we have news like this, that the government can't even ban cryptocurrencies or ban Bitcoin within the country. And then the fact that they've been talking about this for the last, it's almost a year now, a bit more than a year, that the government has been talking about that they're thinking about potentially banning cryptocurrencies, which we know cannot happen. It's one thing if you decide to ban, crypto exchanges, or you decide to put a heavy hamper on them. Get it, got it, good. At this point, even like there I think 5 or 6 countries who have banned cryptocurrencies outright. You can't stop people. Like VPNs exist. Like you can't stop people from downloading wallets. You can't stop people from going across the border or using another internet website to buy cryptocurrencies to put onto a Nano flash drive. Like it's just kind of all these things. I'm glad that people are finally talking about this out loud in the country. India is believed, or will probably be, whenever cryptos are officially allowed, that India is going to be a major spot for cryptocurrency trading, or just cryptocurrency assets in general, the same exact way that we see South Korea and Japan right now. It's believed that the amount of people in India, when they have final confirmation that crypto is indeed legal, and probably has been this entire time within their country, that we should potentially maybe see a huge spike, not only just in prices, but also in interest happening around the world. Because when you look at graphs for the future of economics around the world, like when you look at graphs of 2030 and 2045, it typically has India at the top of the chart, simply because there are a lot of people there, and a lot of people can cause huge movements in markets. Yeah, let's move on. Guess who's in the news once again? Cryptocurrency mining operations in the Chinese provinces of Xinjiang and Guizhou were suspended so the government could conduct very strict tax inspections and real name registration checks. Power to the mining farms was shut off on the 5th of November, sources told local daily Kong News. As a result, the miners lost about 1 million yuan, or around $140,000 a day, during the period of rectification. Joint enforcement actions examined the miners' tax information, funds, and customer information. Kong News reported it is understood that the tax inspection of the mine is very strict. The tax inspection is now complete, but it's unclear if power to the mining farms has been restored yet. They said it is understood that the mines, including business licenses, state-of-the-art power supply procedures, and employee social security, are officially complete. This was said by Kong News. There's a little video. The mining farms were required to sign an agreement promising that their mining data centers will implement higher standards for the company's business real name system, as mandated by China's Public Security Department. Without reading any further, so we had, remember a couple of weeks ago when we had news about the whole 80% of Bitcoin mining inside of China, and people were commenting, and it was far too many for me to even think about responding back to everyone. People were talking about they didn't understand how China was able or would be able to control cryptocurrency mining, i.e. people were saying, when you mine your own cryptocurrencies, the government has no role in that. The government can't do anything. The government doesn't know what you're doing. The government can't walk into your premises and say what you're doing or have you sign anything, because you're mining your own cryptocurrencies. It is your own money. How could the government have control over it? This is why I always implore you to do your own research, or to at least, if you have the time, look at some documentaries. The government in China, they control everything. Everything that happens. They have cameras that look at you and shame you when you cross the street and the light is red, and that's not a joke. They control everything in their country. So I assume that they're doing a major sweep right now, going through much of the country, or whoever has a relatively large, something like this, crypto mining facility, so that they know exactly what's going on, because the last thing that the Chinese government wants is to not know exactly how much money. Like if you're making $143,000 a day, the government is definitely going to want to know how you're making it, and they want to make sure that you have exact numbers so that they can tax you on it. I just thought this article was very interesting, because people were talking about before they didn't understand how China could be able to do it. It's very, very simple. We also had, this was about a year or two ago, when cryptocurrencies were even larger in China, before we had the ban, quote unquote. And the Chinese government, they were seizing a lot of crypto mining farms. I mean, I have no idea the exact size. I don't know if they were 10, 15, 30,000 computers or whatever. But they were seizing them, talking about that what they were doing was illegal, or you hadn't registered with the government and therefore this is our property now. The Chinese government can do whatever they want. Don't assume that they cannot, or that they are that crypto mining is out of the jurisdiction or the league of what the government is able to do. They can do whatever they want. I really don't even know anymore. I was talking before about I wished or I hoped that the entire thing with China would eventually end or be resolved or brushed over. I think they have a lot of issues that they need to work out themselves. Crypto mining is still legal there, as is owning it, as is buying and selling it, as is accepting it for payment. It just seems that crypto exchanges and ICOs, I think the Chinese government has also mentioned that they do not care for ICOs as well. These are the only things that are pretty much banned in China, and still a little interesting that prices haven't moved based off of this news. Let's move on. Next up, I'm going to brush over this one. Mining Ethereum using a graphics processing unit, or a GPU, is no longer profitable, according to an analysis from US-based global trading and technology firm Susquehanna. CNBC reported on the 13th of November on Susquehanna's findings, which point to the protracted slump in crypto markets and declining network hash rates as reasons for the profit decrease. And Susquehanna's analysis: profit per month for Ethereum miners using GPU-based setups had hit a round number of $0 as of the 1st of November of this year, down from almost $150 in July of 2017. Susquehanna notes the decline in Ethereum's price as a major factor. Obviously, with the altcoin currently trading, that is even incorrect because the price dropped, I think, immediately after that, down almost 85% from its record high of $1,350. Wow. In mid-January of 2018. Notably, however, on July 17th of 2017, when Susquehanna's figures indicated a 147 profit for GPU-related miners, the asset was trading at around $175, just slightly lower than the other day's valuation. To explain the pattern, Susquehanna analyzed a second factor: the Ethereum network's hash rate, which fell subsequently in 2018. A higher hash rate is more advantageous for miners as it increases their opportunity for computing the next block and being remunerated into Ethereum. Here is the actual, that's crazy. So this is one side of the coin. The other side of this as well is the news that we had a couple of months ago that Bitcoin mining is also no longer profitable. This is an article from September. We are now in November. That in order to break even for mining Bitcoin, Bitcoin has to be over $7,300 to break even for your mining cost. Bitcoin is now at $5,600, so the break-even point has completely fallen apart. Part of the issue is, I know a lot of people are questioning, why would that matter? Why is this a thing? When you have major operations such as, where is it? This photo. Sorry if you can hear the alarm in the back. When you have large operations like this, and they're making, $143,000 a day, they have to pay for all of the electricity that they're actually consuming. So what ends up happening is that usually, typically, if Bitcoin, let's say the break-even point is like 2,000 or something like that, and Bitcoin is currently selling, $10,000-$15,000, random numbers. You have to sell a lot less Bitcoin in order to be able to recoup your money back so that you can actually pay your taxes and so that you can actually pay for the electricity that you're using, or maybe even pay for the space that you're, not everyone has a gigantic warehouse where they can put all these computers. So what's happening right now is that when Bitcoin's price continues to decline and people need to sell their Bitcoin to be able to pay for the space that they're in, pay for the electricity, and pay the government back for the, blah, 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 they're dumping a lot more Bitcoin than they would have to do if Bitcoin's price was a lot higher. This leads to I can't remember the word once again, like a horrible feedback loop, devil circle. It's bad. Whatever it is, it's like a bad loop that ends up happening. Bitcoin's price falls because there's a lot more selling pressure than there is buying pressure. The price continues to go down. Bitcoin isn't profitable because the price continues to go down. And when people have to sell more Bitcoin, the people who are mining, how much is 143,000? That's imagine at the end of the month, multiple mining companies around the world having to sell, 5 figures worth of Bitcoin every single month while the price is going down, and they're putting more selling pressure on it. It's just a really bad loop that's happening. Yeah, but that's the kind of what's been going on. The Ethereum mining situation hasn't been that great for quite some time. It hasn't been as profitable as many people thought it should be at this point for quite a bit. We also know that Bitcoin mining isn't profitable at all anymore. There are very few coins. I don't mind myself simply because, like I think I said before, I'm not in the mood to have a really hot room with like 300 computers, and I don't want to get an electricity bill that says $2,500 for the month. That's not what I'm here for. But a lot of people have switched over to Litecoin. I think Zcash. There are a couple other coins that people have completely switched over to. That's not to say that everyone has left Bitcoin or Ethereum. But when they're not profitable anymore, people have to find a way, especially in this elongated bear market, to try and figure out a way to make some money. Let's hope that this eventually picks up, because Bitcoin's hash rate has only been skyrocketing. I don't have an actual chart right here. Maybe there's even one from the last couple of months. Yeah, you see this right here. This is absolutely insane. And even when you zoom in a bit closer, you can see like it was almost like a complete upward spike. As we have it right now, this is just kind of what's going on in the cryptocurrency space. Prices are doing pretty okay. XRP is still number 2. We've had a lot of relatively good news about XRP. And like I've said before, XRP has a really good time when it comes to like recovering and stuff like that. It usually is pretty okay. Many of the other coins, Bitcoin Cash is obviously not doing well because of the hard fork. Apparently, I think the other coin, forgive me, I haven't been keeping up with it because I don't really care about it. I think it's called ABC Bitcoin or Bitcoin ABC or Bitcoin Cash ABC, something with an ABC inside of it. They apparently received a spam attack the moment the fork happened and their network went live, and apparently Bitcoin Cash also received a spam attack. I'm not really sure why Stellar is up. A lot of the where's the other one? I think BAT is also up, wherever BAT might be. Some of the other coins that people were talking about potentially being on Coinbase, I think they're also pushing themselves up. Yeah, 0x is also up. Yeah, here we go. BAT is up as well. But yeah, that's going to do it for the news right now. Nothing too completely insane. Once again, these are the kind of moments where you kind of wonder why the prices are going down. But I guess it's just how things are. I know a lot of people are very discouraged. And I try to, I know I always can't bring like the happiest news in the entire world. So I try to make sure that the news is relatively realistic. We are in a bear market, so sometimes the news isn't always going to be that great. Don't let it get you down. I mean, I know it's not easy for everyone. I'm into crypto for the long haul. I know it seems a little gloomy and glum. Is glum a word? Doomy. It seems a little dark right now, but try to enjoy your day. Make sure you go outside and do something if you have off today from work. Try to walk around, get some air. I know it's snowing in some places. Just play with some snow. Do something fun. Thank you once again for all watching. I hope you all have a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you once again for watching and listening. I do appreciate all of your support. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.